for joining me on the mat tonight. So I've put together a short sequence for us to do at the end maybe of our working day, or you might choose to do this before you get into bed. Joseph Pilates used to say that if sleep was avoiding you, the best thing to do was to roll out your mat and do a bit of a sequence on the mat. So whether you're doing this at 7 p.m. or 10 p.m. or 2 a.m., then I am very grateful that you have chosen to join me here. So we're going to start with extending our legs and going into a spine stretch. So going into spine stretch, we're going to stretch out our legs. We're going to take the feet hip-width distance apart, and we're going to flex the feet, pushing the heels away. You need to make sure that you're on your sit bones, so you need to move everything around and find your sit bones first. The hands are going to come to either side of the hips, and you're going to sit up nice and tall, shoulders back. Bring the back of the head in line with the rest of the spine and take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to draw the chin to the chest. We're going to slide the hands along the mat, and we're going to roll the spine forward as if we're drawing our forehead to our knees. Take a big breath in at the lowest point. And then we're going to breathe out and roll the spine back up. And you're stacking the spine upwards. We're not going back, we're sitting up. And again, drawing the chin to the chest. Breathing out now. The less air you've got in your lungs as you move forward, the more curve you're going to get through the spine. Breathe in here. Breathing out through the mouth, rolling the spine back up, seating tall up and over the sit bones. Keep making sure that you're flexing the feet, making the legs involved in the movement. And we're going to do one more. Rolling forward, breathing in, breathing out, and coming up to your seated position. So the second exercise we're going to go into is our roll-up. So again, flexing the feet, activating the back line of the body, sit up nice and tall. You're then going to tuck your pelvis, sending your tailbone towards your knees, and you're going to roll the spine down. Feel the spine coming down one vertebrae at a time, and float the arms up and over. Take a breath in. Peeling the arms back up, bring the spine with the arms and roll the spine back up and come into your seated position. We're going to do a couple more just because they're so good. Remember, this one is about opening out the pelvis, okay? So you're tipping the pelvis, feel the hips opening out, float the arms up and over, take a breath in, breathing out. The body peels up with the arms. Take your time, come up, try not to jolt yourself back up to a seated position. We're aiming to keep it very smooth as we roll. Remember, opening out the hips. This is so good after being sat all day by a desk or in a car or wherever else that you've been seated. And then sit up nice and tall. We're going to take the arms a little bit wider and the legs. I nearly forgot the legs. There we go. And then we're going to float from side to side. And we're just going to take our spine into each direction to open out the waist, open out the side of the body. So our next exercise is going to be the saw. It's called the saw because we saw our little toe off. Not actually, but just aiming to. So we're going to twist the upper body. The little hand is going to come to the little toe to saw it off. And your back hand is turned thumb down. And you're looking towards your back hand and reaching for the little toe. Sawing. 3. Come up, come back to center and twist. And again. 1, 2, 3. Come up and center. We've got 2 more to do each side. Come up and center and twist. Good. Now what you might notice here is that the opposite hip to the side you're leaning to wants to lift, but we need to make sure that we're 50-50 on the pelvis. So draw that hip down and make sure that it's not lifting. Good. How's that, guys? You all good? Okay, just take a little bend of the knees just to loosen off the legs there. Okay, so So guys, we're going to lie on our side next, again, opening up the front of the body. We're going to stretch the legs as long as we can, and we're going to point through the ankles. We don't point to the feet because then we get a little bit crampy. So we're going to be kind to the legs and point through the ankles, okay? You're lying on your hip bone. Try not to come back onto your butt cheek. You need to be on your hip bone as much as you can. Your head is going to rest on the arm, the neck is relaxed, and your eyes are out on the horizon line. Supporting hand out in front, draw your shoulder back so that you can fully breathe into the chest. And then when you're ready, you're going to breathe out and lift the legs. And breathe in, draw them down. Just brief touch of the mat and then breathe out to lift. I would really like it if your feet weren't sliding over each other as they lift and lowered. It would be great if they were lifting just as one unit. So really stretching long, again, opening out the hip after being sat at a desk all day feels so good. And we're really working the side of the muscles, the side of the body here. Good, we're going to do one more. And breathe out to lift. Well done. And then we might take a little bend of the knees and give the hip a little bit of a rub. Just show it a bit of love after working hard. Turn on to your back. Draw the shoulders down in the back. Hands down by your side. We're going to bring the knees into the chest one at a time and then extend the legs long and curl the spine all the way up for our exercise called the scissors. We're going to drop the leg and draw the other leg towards us. Never behind the knee. We're going to go upper leg or down at the thigh, whichever feels most comfortable for you. And then you're going to switch. So the body is anchored through the center here. The pelvis is not lifting, it stays flat to the mat. And really enjoy the length you've got through the legs. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing out as you draw down. Breathing in as you lift. And just enjoy the movement. Good. Well done, everybody. Draw the knees into the chest and give the body a little bit of a hug. Good. We're going to switch to the other side. Okay, so we're going to do our second side here. So making sure that the legs are in line with the hips, that you're lying on your hip bone. The feet are pointed through the ankles, but the toes are nice and relaxed. This top shoulder needs to be back. The supporting hand out in front with the fingers pointing up towards your head. It's there to support you. Don't be afraid to use it. Your head is going to rest on the arm, the back of the head in line with the spine, and your eyes out on the horizon line so the neck and the face can fully relax. And then when you're ready, you're going to breathe out to lift. Again, make sure the feet aren't sliding over each other. They're staying really still as they lift as one unit. Breathe out to lift. And breathe in to lower. We've got 2 more to do after this one. So as you're lifting, see if you can stretch that top hip further away from your rib cage to get that nice length through the body. And then when you're ready, we're going to bend the knees, give the hip a little bit of a rub. So that's it, guys. There's your evening routine. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I wish you a very peaceful, blissful night's sleep. Thank you.